Got a little project today. I got my brand new Borg Warner S366 turbo. This is what's going to be going on our hatchback, our K20 hatchback. I'm waiting on my exhaust manifold set up and all that stuff to come in. It was all made to order stuff, so it's been 2 months already, and hopefully I'll get it within the next month. Anyway, let's look at our turbo real quick. Let me get it out the box. So if y'all been following, you would have already seen this, but this is our brand new. This is a Borg Warner S366. It's a T4. Nice unit. V-band outlet, standard T4 inlet. This is a brand new unit. As you can see, it's hardly getting rust on it. This is without even running it or anything. So, and that's one problem with these cast housing, exhaust housings, is they do rust. It's like I got another car out there with brand new turbo, brand new everything on it. Car's never really even been driven on the highway yet, but everything's completely rusted. Makes everything look old and nasty. But so the first thing I'm going to do is I want to go ahead and remedy this situation before I even put this turbo on the car. I won't have to go back later on and try to do this. So first thing I'm going to do is get this housing off, and we're gonna have to sandblast it to get it ready to get this light surface rust off, and just to get it prepped out and etched so that our coating will adhere. Okay, so let's flip it over. So all we got is just probably like 6, maybe 4 bolts here. Okay, 1/2-inch bolts. Okay, it's not gonna fit. I have to rotate the center section to get some of these bolts out. So as long as you just come through and crack all of them loose, you'll be able to rotate it. Okay, so we've got our 4 bolts out. These are retaining plates out, so we'll pull the turbo assembly off, separate from the housing here. Okay. My main focus is going to be coating the outside. Probably coat these lips as well, but I'm going to tape off. I don't want to get anything on the inside of them, because I don't know how this coating is going to hold up on the internal, so I don't want something that's going to flake off and, you know, end up anywhere it's not supposed to. So we'll just do the outside of it. So something not too sure about, this center section is cast as well. I'm not really sure if I want to try and coat this, just because I don't want to risk getting anything in here. Really don't know. This is where like a brush on product would probably work really well for this. Just don't know if I want to attempt that. I just don't want to risk getting anything in the barren areas. So I think I made a call. I think I'm gonna leave this alone. I'm just gonna coat the exhaust housing. I think it's gonna be the best bet. So this is just a cheap sandblast deal that I got from just a local agricultural store. I think it was like $20. Same one. I don't do much blasting, so I don't really have a nice setup. But this is the same thing I use doing gun components. They're small. This is small, so if you're gonna be doing anything of a decent size, you're gonna want something nicer than this. But it's gonna work for these kind of deals here. I got this from the same agricultural store. 80 grit, abrasive garnet sand. So I'm going to tape up some of the places I don't want anything getting into. and then we'll dump some media in our gun, and we'll start getting this thing blasted. This is what we're going to use to coat with for our coating. It's just a cheap Harbor Freight gun. It's a really small one. It works really good for these little small jobs. Also, it's not something that's going to last a lifetime. Cheap deals, you know. Get a couple jobs out of it, throw it away, whatever. I don't want to put these type of industrial coatings into like my automotive guns, if that makes sense. Here's our finished product after blasting. Till it come out really nice. It's nice and got rid of that dark gray color and the rust, and now we're down just to the bare cast here, which is exactly what we want. Now we've added an etch to it so that our material should stick and adhere well. So you can see that even with that small blaster, it made pretty quick work of this. It's really all you need for these small parts. So something to remember, don't matter if you're using a small sandblaster like we were using, or especially if you're using a bigger one, but either way, man, the air consumption on these things, on these tools is a lot. So you got to make sure you got a big compressor, a lot of volume of air. But yeah, this is ready. I'm going to come back. I'll probably spray this down with some brake cleaner, and I'll come back over that with probably some wax and grease remover and let all that flash off really good, and then we'll be ready to put our product on. Like I said, Cerakote's got a lot of different series of coatings. This is what, from reading on the site, the V series is supposedly to be the best for this type of application. Like I said, I've done guns with them, and there's a different coating. I don't remember the series on it. There's a 2-part. This is a 1-part, and I thought this is just an air dry formula, and I guess it is, but I didn't think they recommended a cure for it. But from reading their site, it says they recommend 500 degrees for an hour, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take this in the house and bake it in the house. So yeah, so we're just going to see what happens. If it dries to the touch, I'm good with it, and then when it goes on the car and we run it, it's going to get some heat cycles and it'll bake there. You know, other than that, I mean, if I have some type of issues with the durability of it or something, I'm not going to blame the product, because I didn't use it exactly to their recommendations. But the housing's ready to go. I'm going to come through with some wax and grease remover and a lint-free wipe. Use gloves. Come through, clean it as best I can. This is porous, so you know, gotta do the best you can with it. Blew it off good, so I'm just going to come back and just kind of wipe it as good as I can. Give that time to flash off. I'm going to tape off everything I don't want, where I don't want it getting at, and figure out some way to kind of set this thing up. Then see what happens with it. In true balls out performance fashion, conditions are less than optimal. It's cold out. Like I said, I'm not gonna bake this thing. I wiped it down good with some wax and grease remover, and I was surprised at how much surface contaminants I pulled off. But I've got to definitely wear, I always wear PPE But man, this stuff, as soon as I open the cap on this material, man, atrocious. So anyway, I'm gonna throw some in the gun, dialing my air pressure and everything. I gotta spray a little test piece. I'm doing it, you know, low pressure, just low volume, just really just not trying to go heavy, just getting the material on. I'm gonna do 2 coats. I think it calls for 1 to 1.5 mils. So I should be able to get that in 2 coats, even as light as I'm doing them. So that's all we're going for. So like I said, let's see what happens. Okay, I got a good first coat down. Let this tack off for maybe 10 minutes at the most. It's really flashing off pretty good despite how cold it is. But laying down good, looks really nice. Very easy to use. I didn't even do any setups on the gun, man. I just gun straight out the box. Do it like I do any other gun. Inlet at the bottom wide open, fluid wide open, fan wide open. And I set it at 20 pounds at the inlet and spraying just how I wanted it. So a nice, good material lay down, good everything, man. So it's really dark in here, so I'm gonna try and put some light on here so you can kind of see the how the first layer is laying down. I see one little light spot. Let me hit it real quick. The way I got this thing set up on this table, it's kind of hard to get everything. Just I can't really suspend this thing how I would like to be able to really work around it, just because how heavy it is. But yeah, let's look at this first coat. Here it is. It's got kind of a grayish color to it. Yeah, it's got a little bit of dirt in it, a little some lint, but something like this, it really doesn't matter. I'm trying to get it. All right, but it's even got kind of a focus, kind of a grayish, and the color could change a little bit as it flashes off. That's pretty normal. But so I'm looking at the part, not the camera. So I got pretty good coverage on this first pass. Trying to make sure I got everything around the flanges and everything. So yeah, so far happy with how it laid down. So yeah. So here's the finished product after coating our housing. Everything's dried to the touch now. Like I said, I hadn't done a heat cycle on it, but everything's dried. Do a fingernail test, you can tell it probably not fully cured, and that'll probably be handled when it is heated. Like I said, they recommend 500 degrees in an hour, but I don't like to follow the rules. But other than that, it looks really good. It laid down really nice, really uniform, and very happy with the as far as that goes, and looks really good. Also, in true balls out performance fashion, it was just looking too good, so I had to end up dropping it. and scuffing it all up, but it was still wet, so I just mixed up another little bit and just sprayed a little bit extra in those spots. So could have looked better. You can see it's a little scratched around here, but I'll handle all these maintenance services before I actually use it. But anyway, happy with it. I'm gonna bolt it up to the turbo and see how it looks. Also, still got plenty of product left over. Let's see. Well, you can see till I kind of shook it up, but it's got about half the bottle left, which it wasn't all the way full. So these little 4-ounce tester bottles is really all you need, unless you're doing some huge project. Just slide this on. Careful not to damage the fins. Okay. Just kind of put our retaining plates in. And got it all back bolted up. Not going to tighten everything down yet because we're not sure how we're going to need to orient either one of these housings until we get our manifold set up. Still waiting on that. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'll have my manifold set up so we can put this on our engine and kind of get an idea of how everything's going to sit and look and orient. So, all right, that's pretty much it. Like I said, if you want to do it right, bake this at 500 degrees for an hour. Like I said, so I'm just gonna let it bake on the car. So we'll see what the results are. If it's not perfect, I can't blame it on the product. But I think with using it in the past, not this particular one, but Cerakote in general in the past, I think it's gonna turn out pretty good. Either way, it's gotta be worse than a dirty, rusty, nasty housing. So I'm happy with it. I think it's gonna look. It's going to be that little extra touch to keep everything looking nice on the car. All right, thank you.